Hi, and welcome back to Thone's 1 Peter Nibbles, number 75. Submission to Husbands, part 6 of 7. Women need not fear. And I don't know if you picked up on that, but the word fear is used here in the text, and we need to know why and why not. We'll be talking about women following the lead of Sarah. Why is this in the Bible? There should be no fear in following God. Communications. Women should follow their husband's lead, except for acts of disobedience to God's leading. So that this is the same instruction which was given also to the person whose boss was evil. And if the boss asked him to do an evil thing, then that they should refuse. And similarly to a government official who was evil, and we should not obey laws that disagree with the law of God. And in the same case, the women should have this submission to their husband unless he's asking her to do an act of disobedience to God. The application to me. An ancient commentary on this, verse 6, comes from Didymus the Blind. Peter commands women to imitate their holy forebearers, and in particular Sarah. He urges them to submit to their husbands just as she submitted to Abraham, and says that they have become their children by their good behavior, just as a man who does the works of Abraham has a faith becomes his child, to also believing women who do good have Sarah as their mother. And this comes from Katina. David Jeremiah gives us a similar but more modern comment. Peter continues his advice to wives about being submissive by referring to Sarah's example. When the Bible teaches marital submission, it does not suggest that the wife is somehow less than her husband, that she can never make decisions, or that she is her husband's servant. However, God has established that the husband should be the spiritual leader in the home, and that both husband and wife should submit to Christ. And let's break this down for a little bit. And this strikes on a couple of things which are so wrong with many marriages. The wife can make decisions and understand things. However, when we make these decisions, they need to be with some sensibility as to how things should be going. And in fact, many husbands take this to make the wife basically a slave. And what a horrible thought of this lovely woman that you love so much, making her into a slave to your whim. And that is, we hear this rhetoric among male speakers all across the spectrum, and that is, this is a particularly bad interpretation of those who are very conservative in their Bible beliefs, and that don't really understand the idea of submission and don't really understand what it is that we're talking about here. But it's also, we see this even in a much more liberal theology, in that it still pulls toward a submissive wife being absolutely submissive under all circumstances to their husband. And it doesn't say that either. And we need to look carefully at this particular issue, because it's being espoused by, as I say, preachers, and not all preachers, but some preachers across a whole spectrum of denominations, of liberality or conservativeness. It's not something God ever intended, and if you read His Word without prejudice, you will recognize that. God leads us with follow your husband except for his potential sins. That's good recommendation, really. You know, if your husband is doing his best to do what is right, follow him. He may be wrong, but follow him, because it's not clear that he's wrong, and it's not clear that he's doing anything that's wrong. My response: Lord, thank you for stating the wife rules, these wise rules of marriage. These are rules of marriage. A wife should follow her husband until she definitely sees that the way he's going is wrong, and then she should try to lovingly relate to this information to him. And I know that's not an easy thing. So anyway, we'll talk to you next time.